Today's episode is sponsored by Newspapers.com, the largest online newspaper archive. Newspapers.com makes it easy to find your family's story, with more than 500 million digitized newspaper pages from the 1690s to today. Search for obituaries, marriage announcements, birth announcements, photos, and more in papers from across the United States, the UK, Canada, and beyond, stretching back 3 generations. For listeners of this podcast, Newspapers.com is offering 20% off a Publisher Extra subscription. Just use the coupon code FamilyTreeMagazine at checkout. That's code FamilyTreeMagazine, all one word, for 20% off Publisher Extra. Welcome to Family Tree Magazine's Best Websites podcast. This is the podcast devoted to finding the best websites to help you with your genealogy research. I'm Lisa Louise Cook. In this episode, we're featuring an exciting tool over at FamilySearch.org. It's the image search portal, and here to tell us more about it are Chris and Ryan from FamilySearch. Can you start us off with an overview of what the image search is at FamilySearch?
As a little bit of background on where you can find the image search, if you're on FamilySearch.org and you look in the navigation header, click on the search tab and it'll open a little menu. And the second option there is images. That's where you find the image search. And the image search is the companion search tool for the record search. So FamilySearch has over 5 billion images, and only about 30% of them are actually indexed. And those indexes can be found in the records search. The image search basically takes all of the images that those records come from and makes it so that you can search them by their metadata. So whether that's the place or date or record type information, or if you have the custodian or creator information, you can find images that way. And that includes both images that have been indexed and those that haven't. Where this can be really valuable is, if you've been through a pretty extensive record search and you're not finding what you're looking for, the records may be out there, and they just might not have been indexed yet. And so with some patience and perseverance, you can find those images and the records that you're looking for.
Can you offer 1 or 2 tips on how users can get started, or maybe some key features or search options they should be using?
Yeah, this is a really good question. What we're trying to do here on the FamilySearch Explorer images, the image search, the image portal, it all is the same thing. But what we're trying to do, like Chris just explained, is help users find everything within our massive library. And when things are unindexed, it's really tough to actually create a library that is easy to find, right? If you can't search by your ancestor's first or last name, what's your next hope? Well, it's coming to our library and it's going through everything that we have, which is, over 5 billion images. So we have that descriptive information, like Chris said, the place, the date, the record type that could be identified with specific records. A couple of key features that might be really helpful is actually being able to use our wiki links. Our wiki links that we have on our site are specific to getting over and viewing contextual information, right? And seeing what can I learn about my ancestor, or maybe where they're from. A good example of this is if you are looking at German records and you happen to speak English, how are you going to find German records for baptisms and know that they say baptisms on there? Well, the wiki that FamilySearch has created can tell you what the German word for baptism is, and things like that. And it can also give you a map that says, here's what we've got for actually being able to go through and get an accurate search. Another big thing that we've focused on has been just helping people find their ancestors through getting as specific a location as possible. On the FamilySearch image search, you've got lots of places throughout the world, right? And so within them, there's lots of different opportunities to look at different places at different levels. Do you want to look at a small village? Do you want to look at the county that village was within? Or do you want to look at maybe the state level, the region level, or maybe even the country level? And so I just another major tip is getting as specific as you can for places. So often we find users that they have a really hard time identifying, I don't know where my ancestor was from. They're from somewhere in Germany. If you can get more specific, if you can define where your ancestor was from, you stand a lot better chance of finding them within our image search tool. And then just a kind of third tip here is actually being able to identify different record types. We use kind of an aggregated thing where if they're birth records versus delayed birth records, we lump them all together, or you can differentiate them out. And so knowing the history of your family just gives you that leg up and helps you understand your context from there. So talk to your family, talk to your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents to actually understand what might be the options for finding your ancestors and knowing that context. I think you stand a lot better chance, and our tool is much more helpful if you can get all of that out of the way.
Let's dig even a little bit deeper. How can we optimize our results?
And if you type in a location like the United States, you're going to have millions of results, and you're going to want to drill down further than that. We've got a number of tools in the image search. All of the search tools are just on the right side and kind of the side panel. And you have kind of a whole toolbox for how you want to refine your search. Like Ryan was saying, probably the most important and most effective way of getting to what you're looking for is by having a specific place. If you enter a country or a state or a province or kind of a higher level location, one of the first features you'll see allows you to see what smaller places are within your current place selection, and it shows you the number of results that are attached to that location. And so you can go in and click on one of those, and it'll update your search for you and help you to drill down that way. Kind of the three main components of a good search would be having a specific location, record type or life event, and a date range. If you've used those and it's not quite getting you where you need to look, going more specific than life event would be a specific record type. You can also search by keyword or a creator custodian. But the fewer overall results you have, I think the more successful you're likely to be in finding the image group that you're looking for.
And a few examples of images that you might run across while using the image search portal on the FamilySearch site is going to be practically anything. I mean, we have 5.2 billion images. Just a few examples of things that we have been working hard at is Chinese genealogies, these Japus. They span potentially thousands of years, and we've created customized experiences for something that's so different than the Western world's way of keeping information and record keeping in family history. They've handled it very differently, and so we created a different experience for users that speak Chinese and can be able to view their family history. For most users on our main Explore Images image search tool, what they're going to find is going to be anything from Ohio court records all the way to baptisms down in Peru to Russian immigration records or Colombian immigration records. We have essentially everything. The three big ones that FamilySearch specifically has lots of content of and can really provide is births, marriages, and deaths. Because of those, we have lots of information and we can be able to help users out. We've also created lots of partnerships with great organizations and have been able to get obituaries from around the world and things like that. So if you think we might have a record, we probably do. Just give it a shot and keep trying.
Well, this all sounds great. Of course, the all-important question is FamilySearch free?
The great answer is yes. You will need an account in order to view any of the results in our image search. Go to FamilySearch.org, and then at the top right of the screen, you'll see a button that says Create Account. And you just go through the normal sign-up process, entering your name and information. And after that, you'll be totally free to go in and use the image search and our other website features.
Terrific. And what should folks do if they need a little bit of help?
FamilySearch is equipped with quite a few different options as far as getting help. If you are in certain select locations, we have FamilySearch centers. These are essentially local areas that might be in the U.S. or around the world, focusing on bringing people closer and helping them understand how to use our different family research methods. And that includes obviously our product as well as many other parts of the FamilySearch.org website. These centers also have interactive activities and experts to help you whenever. There's blogs and these community pages where experts or just novices can try and help you work your way through things. So if you've asked a question, someone else probably has too, and it's probably written there somewhere in the FamilySearch blog. So don't be afraid to go check out those community pages. We also have in the top right corner of every page on FamilySearch, there's a big question mark. That question mark can give you instant help and providing clarifying articles written about the various pages on the FamilySearch site. And then the last one is just a contact us area. If you hit that big question mark in the top right of any FamilySearch page, there's going to be a pop-up that says, do you want to contact us? Hit that contact us button and you will have instant access to either a genealogical expert or at least an email to reach out to them, a chat to reach out to them if it's the middle of the night, that sort of thing. And they will be happy to help you in one of our many supported languages. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Family history is really tough, and one thing FamilySearch is really dedicated to is helping users and just bringing the human family together.
Well, thank you both so much for giving us a wonderful introduction to the FamilySearch image tool. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining me for this episode of Family Tree Magazine's Best Websites podcast. You can find the show notes with a link over to our featured best website at familytreemagazine.com/podcast. Also, while you're at the website, I would encourage you to sign up for our free email newsletter. It's the perfect way to stay in touch with everything we've got going on at Family Tree Magazine, including our other podcast, the Family Tree Magazine Podcast. I'm Lisa Louise Cook, and you can find me at my website, genealogygems.com, where you'll find links to my podcast, the Genealogy Gems podcast, and the YouTube channel. Until next time, have fun climbing your family tree.